What's going on, guys? Dan with Yugicast here. We're gonna be opening up some premium gold, and a little bit later, because I was only able to find two boxes. Like I said, it's been sold out everywhere. A little bit later, we're gonna be talking about my locals report sort of deal, and I played Bujins and ended up getting fourth place. But unfortunately, our locals starts a little bit later than usual, so it was top four like at 12:30, and I honestly just did not want to play anymore. I was so tired. So I decided to see who I was gonna play against for fourth or third. Ended up being a 3.5 axis Fire Fist, which is pretty interesting that that's still a thing at our locals. We kind of go with the trend. So it was a lot of Bujins, and top four ended up being one Gravekeepers, one Insector, Bujins, myself, and then of course the opposing 3.5 axis. And I decided just to play game one and then see if I lost, then I would just scoop and go home and sleep, and if I won, then I would at least try to get the match. But then I knew I was gonna either lose to I was gonna lose to Gravekeepers for sure, because it was a really great pilot. I usually go back and forth him, but him piloting Gravekeepers is a bit of a difficulty for me, and I just knew it was gonna work out for first place or anything. And Insectors, I honestly didn't want to play him because I knew that person played a lot of back row, and my royal decree would not have been able to stand, and it just would have been a hassle because it was more of a grind game with him playing too much back row. But into the premium gold, guys. We're starting off nice with a Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King, Silent Wabi, a Heartland Draco. This is actually pretty nice. I kind of wish I'd opened this a little bit sooner, because I actually needed and traded for one of these and the Tiger King. And backwards cards, a Armor Master and a Gravekeeper Spy. Two great cards. So actually that was a really good pack. Wow. Especially lately, because I've been trying to haul out my Blackwings. Dark Flare Dragon, C88 Disaster Leo, an Obelisk the Tormentor. Alright. Backwards cards again, Mirror Force, and Morphing Jar. That's actually pretty interesting. Mirror Force is definitely cool because now I have a pair of them. And it looks like Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Didn't even know that came in here. Wow. A Game Puppet Humpty Dumpty, a Black Feathered Dark Rage Dragon, and then backwards cards again, a Raikou and a Celestia. Overall, not a bad box on that one. Alright, starting off strong again, we have a Tanky, another Obelisk, Chaos Atlantis, backwards cards again, Death Volskov, and a Summoner Monk. Colossal Fighter, Utopia Buster, Chronomaly Guardian, Gizno, alright, Simply Unlucky, and a Armed Wing. Again, also pretty cool because I'm trying to hollow out my Blackwings, so I got the pair. Nice. Another Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, Ghost of a Grudge. Alright, definitely looking for this. I'm going to have to turn it upside down for myself, sorry. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, the attack of all monsters your opponent controls becomes 0. That is definitely cool. I know it's been an interesting card a lot of people have been looking forward to. I haven't tried it yet, but now that I have one, maybe I'll throw it in something. We have one Punishment, and then we have Prime Material Dragon and a Ryza. Alright. So, and I just picked up the Gold Lances. I think I'm kind of looking for Gold Veilers still, but unfortunately no Gold Veilers. But that's alright, you know. And, I think I put a Galaxy in here in accident. I didn't. Alright. Well, guys, we're going to be cutting to some other sort of gameplay, or perhaps a DN screen, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace. Alright, guys, so we're here on Dueling Network with my my most recent deck profile that I used and went into top 4 with last night. And as you can see, I've made some very tiny changes. It's honestly just a solid and consistent deck. I feel like there's not much to do with it. I tried out a second Carnation, but this never really happens, and I ended up finding myself either setting it to bait out MSTs or just pitching it to search a Crane to hand or make a Zuchi. So I'm going to be dropping this back down to 1, and I'm probably going to be putting in a Dark Hole or just anything more useful than this. I still have the Arsuda. I'm thinking about replacing with the Mikazuchi, but it's kind of low priority right now because Mikazuchi and everything else is just expensive. And you can see over here, like 11 or 12. I probably actually let me open up Yu-Gi-Oh prices. definitely the more appropriate place to look up prices overall, because it includes the eBay ones, and I think that one on DN just is the TCG player API. But we're looking up. Ooh, gear your armor to 20. Ooh, it went down a little bit actually. That's pretty funny. I actually just sold my gear gears for 85 total value. I believe it was like 70, and then a place at Ultra Bears just because I wanted the one from my Bujins to hollow it out. But it was a friend, so I definitely wanted to go as low as possible, and I felt comfortable with 70 cash in the Bears. But you can see over here the average is 12, lowest is like 10. So I'm gonna be thinking about getting a third one just to replace the Arasuda. But his effect rarely comes in handy for the Dark World dealing. Cause there are some times where I just have too much of the little ones or useless spells at that point. Because if I open up perfectly, like if I open up Yamato, Kaiser, and Decree, then I usually don't need the upstarts. And I'll still use the dualities, but the upstarts I'll usually like set them, or I'll just hold on to them for like a more time where I need the draw power. If my Yamato dies or my Kaiser dies. But his effect is okay. In the side deck, I actually managed to remove some things, and I went ahead and put in the second Dyna, and then I dropped one Twister for the Soul Release. I'm probably going to be dropping the Crow, and then putting in the second Twister back in, because, oh dear. As I say, putting the second Twister back in, because a huge issue this time was Zombie Worlds and Necro Valley. I ended up losing to Necro Valley in round 4. And I just got purely O2'd, and it sucks, but what can I do? It's just really hard relying on the 3 MST and the 1 Twister. And against Zombie World, I had Direwolf from the extra deck. I just replaced it with Heartland Draco, because I realized that Direwolf can't even hit Zombie World because it has to tribute a beast thing. And then I finally got the Tiger King, and which is kind of funny because I just traded for these two, and as I saw a minute ago, I just pulled them. But whatever, guys. Going into the Swiss report, I played round 1 against Anti-Meta, which was Trap Tricks. It had the Beatron and the Ryo. I don't think it had like anything else aside from like Miss Valley Falcon. But quite frankly, it was just a lot of back row, and I went first, and I set Decree, and I opened up Yamato, of course. So it was pretty much game from there, and I think like the second game I opened up Valor, and then the same setup of Decree, and I Valored his Mermello, so he had pretty much nothing to work with. And then with Decree out, he was just dead in a matter of seconds. Round 2 was Constellars. Unfortunately, I felt bad for this guy. We went into game 3 because second game, I don't remember what happened, but I misplayed, and I wasn't being as cautious as I should have been, and ended up dying. I ended up having my Yamato dying, and I just could not recover for whatever reason. I just had a bad hand. But his hands were so much worse though, because he opened up all 3 games with only counts as a monster, and then just tons of back row. And unfortunately, he's a person that likes to play a lot of like weird, tech traps and all the sort of stuff. But unfortunately, the back row he was playing was like Seize Fire and Magic Cylinders. And while they are nice cards, Magic Cylinder is definitely a cool card. But the fact is, it does not do anything to stop my field. It just delays me a turn. So he's basically giving himself all these dead draws and these cards that really aren't going to advance him further in clearing my field. And like as I said before, he was drawing, just a cows. So definitely all these tech cards were not doing anything but, delaying my turn and, letting me build up more advantage because I, was able to keep my Yamato on board for the 2 games that I won. And round 3 ended up being Beal's Turbo, and I was very terrified because I playtested against it the night before, and I got O2'd with both my Bujins and my Harpies. And it's very difficult to see that he could pull off double Beals in 1 turn. He could also pull off Drago Necro, the new fusion, in Premium Gold as well. He was able to pull that off with a Dragon's Mirror teched in. He played 2 Dragon's Mirror, and he was able to summon that thing, and it's kind of a crazy thing. Basically, it's got 3,000 attack, and then it cannot kill your monsters. However, it spawns a token that basically copies your monster's attack and his level. And the thing is, he would just use Drago Necro to beat over whatever you have on board, and then it wouldn't kill it, but it would make the token. And then once that attack goes through, basically your monster's attack becomes 0. So the token would then beat over your monster with whatever attack it had. You would take that damage, and even I think it was ruled that even if Drago Necro dies, like in battle, because I was pitching Crane trying to get rid of it, but he would still get the token, and the effect would still go off. I'm not entirely sure on the ruling on that one. It was kind of confusing, and I felt like it shouldn't have worked that way. But I was still able to win somehow. Main deck zombie world is a huge issue, and like I said, the double beals is just something I can't really deal with because my deck isn't really that spammy, obviously, with Kaiser. But I was lucky enough to open third game with like the Kaiser, and just basically control him from there with just protecting the Kaiser and being lucky enough that he didn't draw into MST. I found that generally just playing against him, it was a lot smarter not to attack into his set cards if I had Kaiser, because I would have Kaiser out on board and Yamato, and he would have like a set card, which we would all know would be like Pyramid Turtle or Mizuki, and I could just leave his field alone, and pray that he doesn't draw the MST, and then just set up my board and start getting ready to make either the Silent Honor arc, which is pretty important, or I made Exciton. Whenever he had Zombie World out, I just made Exciton and blew up his entire field, and it just ended up working out pretty well. Round 4, which is a little bit more unfortunate, I went into Gravekeepers, and as I said before, I lost. Necro Valley is a huge thing to deal with, and because of that, I'm probably going to be putting back in the second Twister, because it's just really difficult to deal with it. Again, the Exciton kind of came in handy, but the amount of turns I lose in setting up and basically not being able to utilize my grave was pretty detrimental, and because of that, I'm had to make some changes and play test against them more to be more comfortable in beating them. And going into top 8, I played Beals again, and this time, it was a little bit more interesting because we had gotten Astro Pack 1s, which is really lame, but the thing is, our store is currently like out of everything Yu-Gi-Oh related, so he didn't have like any packs for us to give, so he's giving out store credit, or just the promise of next week when his stuff comes in to give us packs. I just went for the store credit, but the Astro Pack I couldn't really turn down because how long was that going to be sitting there for more? It's ridiculous. So I decided to take it, and my opponent, the pilot of the Beals Turbo, was like, oh, I'll bet you my pack. Whoever wins gets both the packs. And I was like, yeah, sure, because there's no real loss in Astro Pack 1. So I decided to do it and ended up winning both packs. Again, just the Kaiser and the playing more conservatively and building up my field, and saving the MST only for the zombie world was what ended up winning me that game. And then went into top 4, which is 3.5 axis, and I just didn't feel like playing at that point anymore. He bottomless my Yamato, and he started doing his crazy combo, and I was just tired of it, so I decided to go home and sleep. But it was definitely a cool locals experience, being able to top consistently now with this deck. I believe there's 2 other Bujin pilots, and as far as I'm concerned, I think I was the only one that made it into top 4, because top 4 was Inzektor, Gravekeepers, and then the 3.5 axis, and then myself. But I know in top 8 the Bujins did make it, but they ended up losing out to different things. So that's pretty cool. I definitely like my build. As I said, really the Carnation is the only thing that really has to go at this point, because it just never happened. But other than that, guys, it's looking pretty solid. Definitely a good deck. There's no reason to doubt this deck's potential. But I'll be seeing you next week, guys, with some sort of video. I'm not entirely sure. But until then, guys, peace.